This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you in part by the Daily Herald.
Coach Paul Murphy from Waubonsie Valley. We're out on the practice field. We can see the guys warming up in the background. One day away from the lights turning on. What are some things that are going through your head as you guys prepare for the Redhawks?
Did we miss anything? You know, anytime you get your first game, is there something, some situation you didn't cover that might occur tomorrow night? And we've tried to cover all our bases. We've checked and double checked, and you know, it's time to play a game and find out what we got. You know, just like I'm sure Naperville Central is excited to see what they got. You get used to going against yourself so often, you sometimes get a false sense of security. It's time to go play somebody different and see where you're at as a football team.
And we go back to last season, you guys end up 8-3, break out of that kind of drought of getting to the second round of the playoffs. How do you come off a successful season like that and kind of keep these guys motivated?
Well, I think that they're motivated because of the way we lost. We lost in double overtime, 1 foot short of sending it into third overtime or possibly winning in double overtime because we had blocked the extra point in the second overtime, so they were only up 6 at the time. And also I think there's enough momentum and pride in our senior group that, you know, they want to be the team that takes us to the quarterfinals. They want to be the team that, you know, breaks us into that elite status as an 8A program, you know. And we don't have an easy schedule this year. It starts with Naperville Central, the DVC, and we've got to be ready to go tomorrow night.
And I read you said the slogan for this year's team is unfinished business.
Absolutely.
Is that kind of a part of it? Yeah.
You know, we're co-champs. We want to be sole champs in the conference. You know, we're 1 foot short of completing that second round victory last year. That's not good enough. You know, we want to aspire to greater things.
And we shift ahead to the here and now. You talk about with the split with Mattia, you guys have a smaller senior class than you're used to, 22 seniors out of 70 guys. So this junior class is going to play a huge role. How do you expect them to adjust to varsity competition here?
Well, first of all, we had their 2 best players on the varsity last year as sophomores, Austin Guido and Austin Lakey. So there's 2 with varsity experience. They're a good class, the junior group. They were 8-1 as freshmen, 8-1 as sophomores. Our seniors have been highly successful as freshmen, sophomores, and they were part of the 8-3 team last year. So winning here has become a tradition. We want to continue that tradition, and it's a question of, can we reload from last year's group, or is it going to take us a while? And I guess we start answering those questions tomorrow night. You never know how a junior is going to react once the lights turn on and they're going against seniors that are going to play with a lot of urgency. And that's probably been my message to the junior class. You got to come ready to play with urgency. It's no longer sophomore football. You're not playing with players your own age. You're playing with players older than you as well as your own age.
You talk about reloading. We've seen you guys replace a couple one-year starting quarterbacks the last 3 or 4 years. You got Mitch Stefani and Dylan Warren battling out here in camp. Who can we expect to see?
You're going to see both of them tomorrow because they're both have different strengths. And so we're going to play to both players' strengths. And same thing, without practice games, without practice scrimmages like you get at the college level, going against yourself is a false sense of security. I want to see what they can do when the bullets are flying from a different opponent. How are they going to react when Naperville Central does certain things to them tomorrow? And the only way I can answer that is to play both of them. You know, I could say one is better than the other from practice here, but is that necessarily true when we go against our opponent tomorrow night? So we're going to find out tomorrow night. Both of them are going to get a chance to play in the first half, and the one that's got the hot hand will probably stay and go the whole second half. But I couldn't tell you who that's going to be at this point.
How much does it help a couple of those guys that don't have as much experience that they do have a couple playmakers to lean on in D. Gray and Austin Guido?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those guys had great years last year, you know, and we're going to be relying heavily on both of them on the offensive side of the ball, just like we're going to rely on Tommy Woot, Austin Lakey, Zach Steele on the defensive side of the ball, because those guys played all 11 varsity games last year as varsity players.
Demetrius Gay, the guy that's going to go into that #1 role, you know, he's hoping to play for a couple more Division I offers. He has some on the table. Is it one of those things where he's working hard to be able to, you know, maybe fulfill that individual goal and help you guys fulfill a team goal at the same time?
Well, we've talked, and it's like if he does what he's capable of doing each and every day in practice, each and every day of the game, the college aspect will take care of itself. You know, the fact that he doesn't have the offer that he's waiting for, hopefully will spur him on to bigger and better things, but he just has to be the best D grade he can be for us, and everything else will take care of itself.
You know, Friday night's your big night, but you talk about some of the college players from this program that have gone on, 6 from last year's team alone. On Saturdays, do you find yourself busy kind of tracking maybe what these guys are doing?
If it's not Saturdays, I'll go Sunday on the internet to see what they're doing, absolutely. I know there was a nice article in the Tribune last week about Mitch Ewald from Indiana being a key on their special teams, and that, you know, that makes you proud as a coach to see one of your players' names in the paper.
So it's one of those things where you find yourself busy. And how rewarding is that as a coach to when these guys come back? And
it's really rewarding because they then express their experiences to the high school players. What is college football like? Because we tell them college is totally different than high school, especially if you're a scholarship player. You are under the control, total control of that football coach and that football program. And here we're trying to, and not that the colleges don't try to build a family atmosphere, it's a little different than at the high school level.
And I've heard you say that this team has the potential to be one of the best you've coached. What do they have to do to realize that?
Play to their potential. You know, they just got to believe in themselves, and they got to play the game the way we're teaching them to play it.
Is it all about maybe getting up to varsity speed for some of those younger guys?
Absolutely. For the juniors, it's playing at the varsity speed.
And you guys start with Naperville Central. Is that one of these games that these guys get up for? You know, being Aurora and Naperville, a couple guys that...
Yeah, because a lot of these players played with the Naperville Central players in youth leagues, whether it's youth baseball, youth basketball, youth football. They know a lot of these guys from Naperville Central. So, yeah, it's a big game for our kids.
So if I'm talking to you maybe towards the end of the season, you guys are successful, you know, maybe bring home that sole conference championship, what's going to be the reason why?
Because we played to the best of our ability, and everybody did their jobs every second of every play. You know, it's a team. You're as strong as your weakest link. If we don't have any weak links, we're going to be a dynamite football team. Defensively,
you guys bring back about 4 or 5 starters. Any changes scheme-wise defensively? What can we expect to see?
You're going to see the multiple 4-3 that we've always played. You're going to see the spread offense that we played on offense. And, you know, the system works. It's just fitting the right pieces of the puzzle where they belong.
And as you guys having 2.5 weeks or so here, do you feel like you have those right pieces going into week 1?
We'll find out tomorrow night. You always think you do, but you never know until you play the game.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you letting us come out to practice, and good luck tomorrow night.
All right, thanks for having me.